I'm going to be showing you how to make a vegetable soup. Your design brief asks you to choose 3 of your 5 a day to include into this recipe. Now I'm going to be using a potato, I'm going to be using a carrot, onion, courgette and a leek. Okay, so firstly I'm going to start by peeling my carrot. Okay, so literally hold it one end and turn it in your hand as you peel. Now I do understand you'll have different kinds of peelers, and I know the ones we have at school are different to the one I'm using here, but that's okay. Right, so put that to one side, your peelings, and then I'm going to cut the length of the carrot in half. And on this one, I'm going to slice it into 3 lengths. If your carrot's a little bit bigger, you might want to do slice it into more than that. But as you see, I've got 1, 2, 3 there. So I'm going to put that together and hold it together. And if I slice it down the middle there, I have battens. Okay, this is a vegetable cutting technique. Now, if I put all the battens together, because we don't want a piece of carrot that size in our soup, and then chop them together, they are diced. Now, key thing here is to make sure that they're all evenly sized, same size, which we call uniform in food. And when you've got them chopped up, I don't have a white tray, so I'm using a white plate to put all my prepared food on. So, this cutting technique that I'm using here is the claw grip. As you see, my hand is like a claw, and you hold the food steady with it, and the knife is literally going in front of your fingers like that, okay? Making sure that the knife is in front, okay? So you're not going to chop your finger because it's tucked out under the way, and as you chop, you move back. So I'm going to show you a couple of other cutting techniques here. So if we slice across like that, as you can see, you have a half moon, okay? That is known as paysan. Now, if you cut that in half, we have a crescent, and that is also paysan. Now, what I would advise you to do with making your soup is to keep the vegetable cutting the same. So we wouldn't have paysan and dice and variety of different cuttings, because we want to keep it uniform. We want to keep them the same. But I'm just showing you some different cuts. Now, if we slice through thinly, okay, more thinly than I did on the last one, so this one's going to be divided into about 4 or 5, and then put them together, slice in half, much thinner than the battens these are, okay? These would be known as julienne, another vegetable cutting technique. So I'm going to put them together, I'm going to chop them up very small, and they're smaller than the diced. These are known as brunoise, okay? If you can see on here, very small vegetable cuts, brunoise. So I'm going to put that over there with my diced and return to the rest of my carrot here, which I'm just going to dice. Okay, key thing, uniform, everything needs to be the same size. Right, so carrots on there, on my plate. As you can see, my carrot is prepared. Now, next thing I'm going to go on to is my onion. So, with an onion, okay, take the top end off, get rid of the peel, take the bottom end off, again get rid of the peel, and then score through the skin. So we're not cutting all the way through, just scoring through. Makes it a lot easier to peel off. Okay. Now, so peeling's out the way. So then what you do is slice top to bottom, okay? We don't cut round the sides. So top to bottom, okay? Now, 2 flat surfaces to deal with, bridging over your onion, slice through. I don't know if you can see on the camera. Let's go that way. And then I'm going to turn it the other way, and now we dice. Okay, again, even sized pieces. Right, let's put the onion on the plate. And we'll do the other half of the onion. Now this is a strong onion because this is beginning to make my eyes water. Many ways that you can stop that from happening. Having a silver spoon in your mouth apparently is one of them. Wearing sunglasses. Anyway, a variety. Right, so that's onion all chopped up. Next thing I'm going to prepare is my courgette. Now this is a yellow courgette. I'm not going to use all of it because it's quite a big courgette. I'm just going to cut it in half. And then cut it in half again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice halfway up the courgette towards the end. Towards the end. And then slice down. All the way along. And then I'm just going to go the other way. As you can see, it's held together because I haven't cut through the very end. And now I've got nicely diced pieces of courgette. Okay, so to go through that one again. Courgette, bridging over. I don't know, it's the best way to see this. Okay, halfway up the courgette, use your knife, be careful to slice to the end. So about a couple of millimetres away from the end of the courgette. So as you can see, you've got these two flaps there. And then, bridging over again, slice the length of your courgette apart from the 2 millimetres that you've got connected at the end. All the way down. And then go the other way. So you can see, courgette all diced up. Now I had to move the plate out of the way because the onion was so strong. So making my eyes sting. Right, let's put that back on there. Okay, right. So as you can see, I've got my carrot, courgette and onion there. Right, next thing is my potato. Now this might seem a little bit wasteful, okay, but it just makes it a bit quicker with preparing it. So I'm just going to slice off the side of the potato. If you want to peel it and you feel that you're competent and you can do that quicker, then go for it. But this is just a cheats way of showing you show you some different vegetable cuts as well. So then that way. So as you can now see, I've got a rectangular block. So I'm just going to take the ends off. Okay, get rid of that on my peelings pile. And then I'm just going to nip any corner bits off the of skin that we don't want there. Like that. And then we're going to go with dicing the potato. So, again, bridging over. Let's get rid of that bit of peel. I'm going to slice down, holding it tightly in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's five slices down. But depending upon the size of your potato, I don't know how many you're going to need. So then turn it on its head. Okay, so we've got all of them stacked. Can you see? So it's like stacked like that. Again, bridging over, I'm going to slice down through the stack. 1, 2, 3 times. Then turn the block round, slice down. Again, diced potato, even, uniform. So everything that I've got going on my plate at the moment is the same size, which means my soup, you won't have a massive bit of courgette, for example, and a small bit because it's all been chopped up the same. So, onto my plate. Now the last thing I'm going to prepare is my leek. So, I don't know if you know what to do with the leek. Take off the outside layer. Actually, I tell you what, if we take the end off first, it might be a bit easier. So take the end off and then take off the outside layer. Like that. And then I'm going to take another load off, another layer off. Okay, I haven't taken the end off properly. Right, so that's that. Okay, now with the leek, might be a little bit dirty at the top there because obviously growing outside. So I'm going to slice off the dark green bit, we don't need that, okay? And I'm just going to give it a quick rinse under the tap, just to get rid of that mud at the top. Okay, so there we go. What we do with our leek now, I'm going to slice the length down the middle like that, and then I'm going to turn it over. So we've got 2 flat surfaces to deal with, and then using the claw grip again, slice as evenly as you can. Making sure the knife is in front of your fingers, or your fingers are behind the knife. Okay, so as you can see, leeks all chopped up nicely and evenly. And then I'm just going to go with my other one, or my other half. Okay, so now we're all prepped up. I'm going to keep this on the chopping board because there's not enough room on my plate. And I'm going to take this over to this work surface here and my plate as well. So, next thing, I need to heat up my pan. So I'm going to turn the gas on. There's a few herbs and seasonings that I had there to add to my soup. So let's see if we can get over to the pan. Okay. Right, so heating up the oil. Don't want it too hot that it starts spitting. Oil's beginning to get a little bit runny. So the first thing I want to put in there is I'm going to put in my onion. So that can go glassy, translucent, and start releasing some flavour. I'm going to get some garlic to add to that as well. I have easy lazy garlic. Rather than crushing a clove of garlic. So I'm just going to put a spoonful of that in. Get that mixed up. Now, before I started, I did get my stock cube into a jug and I added 600 millilitres of water to it. So it's nice softly broken down to add to my soup as and when we need it. So, put the spoon back. Okay, onions releasing lots of juices, flavour, smell the garlic and the onion working together. Now if you're using garlic clove and you're not crushing it, you're chopping it by hand, the smaller you chop it, the more the flavour will infuse throughout the dish. Okay, so to that I'm going to add in my, doesn't matter what order you do this in now, I'm just going to add in all the veggies, so the carrot, the courgette, my potato, and lastly, my leek. Okay, try to get it all in the pan and not around all the hob and whatnot. So all the veggies, like I did. So all the veggies are in there, get them all mixed up. As I say, try and keep it in the pan, not chucking it all over the hob like I'm doing. Okay, ensuring that all the vegetables get nicely covered in the oil and then starting to sizzle. Okay, to that, I'm going to add in some stock. Okay, now it might look a bit watery, which is fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to let it boil. Okay, so it's going to start to bubble, which is going to give off the steam, and which is the liquid evaporating. So the amount of liquid in the pan will reduce down. Okay, and the sauce will, and the liquid will begin to start to thicken up. Okay, which is, it's reducing in the pan. Okay, so now I'm going to add in the rest of my stock, making sure that you've got the stock cube broken up in the bottom. Now you can use any, I mean this is a vegetable soup, so technically we should use vegetable stock cube, but if you want to use a chicken or a beef, fish, whatever you want to use, it's absolutely fine. Okay, so turn that up to start to boil, and in the meantime I'm just going to bung in a bit of seasoning. So I'm going to add to mine Worcester sauce. This isn't on the recipe, but adds a bit more flavour. Also going to add in some, I've got smoked paprika here. Don't have to have smoked, you could have any sort, but this is the one, I like a smoky flavour. I've got some mixed herbs here as well, so I'm going to add some of those in. And then a bit of salt and pepper. Some pepper there. And then I add in some salt. And I like my food quite spicy, so I'm just going to add in a little bit of Tabasco. Now you could have fresh chilli in it if you wanted to, or you could add chilli powder. But I've just put in Tabasco. Right, in a minute this will start to bubble away, which is good, and the liquid, as I say, will start to reduce as it evaporates. I'm going to leave it to simmer for 15 minutes, which will help the veggies to soften and also infuse some more flavour. So basically the soup will simmer when it starts to boil. I'm then going to reduce the heat down and I'm going to let the soup simmer, which is when the flavour will be infused more. This will be for about 15 minutes. It's simmering means basically cooking gently on a low temperature. Okay, starting to bubble. Which is what we're waiting for. Okay, bubbles are starting now. So have a think about what different vegetables that you could use. As I say, you've seen what I've used, but you could have different vegetables in it. You could have pepper, you could use a red onion instead of a white onion. You could have aubergine, broccoli, all sorts of vegetables to go into it. Right, that's just started to bubble away, so I'm going to reduce the heat down and let it simmer gently, and we will be back later.